I want to pose to you a scenario with a question. A Christian and an atheist are talking about religion, something that, whew, it's always a slippery slope. Christian looks at the atheist and says something along the lines of, okay, so I believe that people who die in sin go to hell. Straightforward belief, no questions to it. The atheist then looks at him and says, well, I believe that God is a jerk. Now, nothing that the Christian said was disrespectful to what anybody believes. It's just his belief or her belief. But what the atheist said was completely disrespectful to God. Now, the God that, of course, this person believes in. And we are partly our own belief system. So it's pretty much an insult to that person in a way. So why is it okay? And it's seen as okay a lot of the times for an atheist to attack a Christian's beliefs. But when a Christian says their beliefs, now I'm not saying that Christians don't just straight up attack people, but I'm saying that if a Christian just merely states their beliefs in a non-threatening or a insulting way, it's still seen as judgment and it's still seen as evil. But an atheist can say whatever they want, and it's seen as empowering and people support it. Same thing as far as men and women. A man and a woman are talking, and they're talking about a particular subject. It doesn't matter. They're talking about, say, I don't know, women's rights. And the man makes a good point. The woman then says, you know what? Stop mansplaining to me. And then the man says something else, kind of like dismisses it, but then the woman comes from a female perspective on it, and the man says, well, then don't womansplain. Now, of course, in this conversation, society would tend to side with the woman and say that the man is wrong and use sexist terminology. Now, why? Why is it that if they say the same thing, the man is the aggressor or the microaggressor and the female is empowered? Why is it that if a white man and a black man are having a conversation about race, and a white man says something that on the subject, and the black man says, well, you can't say anything about that because you don't experience what being black is like, and then proceeds to talk about white people. But if the man were to say, well, you can't tell me what that's like because you're not white, why the white person would automatically be seen as racist in a way. Society would consider this man racist for saying what he said, but this black man would be seen as empowering. I don't understand why certain things that people say or do, that certain people say or do rather, would be considered racist, homophobic, transphobic, or whatever, but somebody on that side that is the subject of it, even though it's, again, non-threatening, it's just a conversation, this person is seen as homophobic, transphobic, racist, sexist, whatever. But the person that's debating against them, who is, even if they're being rude, they're seen as empowered. They're seen as if it's okay. Another example would be if a white man was walking down the streets with earbuds listening to an NWA song, which anybody who's listened to NWA knows that the N-word is used a lot. If the N-word comes up in the song and he's rapping it loud, and he uses the N-word, and the black guy gets offended, he can stop the white person and say, hey, dude, that's racist, you effing cracker. And the white man looks at him and says, well, what's more racist? The fact that I was quoting verbatim this song, not directing that word to anyone, even though it is a racial slur, and impolite and shouldn't be said, but at the same time, what's more racist, me saying that word because it's in a song, or you just blatantly looking at me, calling me this racist slur that you just called me? Why is one thing racist and the other thing is not? And I think it all comes down to the same exact thing that I've been saying it comes down to, and that's this victim culture that people are tending to have more. And what victim culture says is that you are constantly victimized if you're a minority, if you're different than the white male Christian demographic, white male straight Christian demographic rather, and everybody else is okay and justified with taking a huge steaming dump on these people, these white Christian straight males, because it's empowering to them, because the power structure was balanced at one point to favor these people. Now we've seen this shift in society to where it's not so much like that anymore. There's more empowerment as far as women, black people, uh, LGBTQ people, and non-Christians. And the fact is that the balance should equally balance out as far as blame is concerned when it comes down to what is said between both parties. If you are black and you say something racist to a white person, it is racist. Just like if you are white and you say something racist to a black person, it is racist. There needs to be an equal accountability, or there needs to be no accountability. And I think that's where we fall off as society, is that we expect one person to be able to shoulder all the blame, while the other ones get to shoulder no blame for what they say and do, because of the fact that the past was the past. And it's like people use the past in order to try and control the present. And when controlling the present, they actually mean controlling people within the present. And I think that's something we need to stop. So that's questions that I have for people, and I would love to know your answers to it. So like, comment, subscribe, all of that good YouTube stuff. Check out my channel for those of you on Facebook, and let me know what you think. Y'all have a good one. I love yous.